I've got a couple more Poundland lamps. The most interesting one is this, because this is a new one in the range, and it's a typical GU10 3 1-watt LED type lamp. What's interesting about this one is that it says it's rated 2.6 watts. The Chinese suppliers normally just generically say 3 watts, but I'm wondering if that's they've downrated it slightly for longevity. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll find out in due course. The other thing I got was one of the candle lamps, but with the small Edison screw, because I wanted to compare them and see how they fitted the electronics, if it was any different. But in reality, they're using the same circuit board, but they've just made a larger base here to accommodate that. I also wanted to check if the glass actually comes down and glues onto the metal, but it doesn't. So it's not really, unless this plastic is thermally conductive to help transfer the heat, it really is just relying on general dissipation through, well, the body, I guess, really. It's odd that they've got this big metal heatsink in here, but nowhere really for the heat to go. Unless it is actually coupling through the plastic, but yeah, not really sure. But anyway, I shall put that to the side, because this video was all about this one. I was quite surprised to see these. I missed them at first because initially I just thought it was a standard GU10 lamp because it was the same packaging. So I've got a holder here and I'll plug it in. Cold white, and its power dissipation is, well, power drawing is 2.4 watts. Okay, that's reasonable enough. How does the light look? It's bright enough, I suppose. Well, let's open it up. I'm kind of guessing that this is just going to be typical of these lamps, and it's going to contain that bright power chip, the little switch mode circuit in the back. Now, the first thing I'm going to test is how tight these lenses are, because some of them you get the lenses rattle, and that suggests they're not really pushing the LEDs back hard enough. These ones seem to be touching okay. That lens is slightly loose, but that's okay. It's not too bad. It relies, this design tends to rely on this front plate pushing the lenses onto the LEDs, and that pushes the LED circuit board onto the heatsink. It's quite surprising that, you know, these have come so far, the standard 3-watt GU10, that they now sell them in dollar stores, basically. Oops. There's the lenses. Typical construction inside. It's got the 3 1-watt LEDs. Actually look like they may actually be 3-watt LEDs just to actually help spread the heat. 32mm 3 LED. Okay. You can get access to the screws through these holes, which is quite nice. And that will probably reveal the little bright power type circuit board. They're so common now that, you know, it's almost certain. But then I have been wrong in the past. And I'm wrong this time too. Okay. Components only on one side. It's the typical 2-transistor type circuit, with this being the drive transistor, this being a control transistor, possibly detecting a peak current. There's a sort of beefy resistor here, which probably that's what that's for. 2.2 megfarad, 400 volt, a single diode in there. It's not got a bridge rectifier, just to save space presumably and cost. Okay, that's kind of old school in a way. And the output, just the standard little single diode and a little capacitor just to smooth the output a tiny little bit. Ah, I may explore that a little bit further actually later on. It's not a very easy circuit board to actually see the surface mount components on. I'll just lift that up for you to take a look at. So it might be a wee bit harder to trace out. It's easier to trace out the... I guess it's a similar circuit to the one in the USB power supply that I completely reverse engineered. But yeah, it's quite interesting actually. It's quite neat. And again, it's surprising that they've come down to the point that these are now available for £1 each. I might actually consider getting some coloured LEDs and actually stick them in that. It's something I don't really have much of, is just the bare beads, the 1-watt beads or 3-watt beads. I might get some. That would be quite fun to play about with. Yes, interesting enough. That's a good result, actually. I quite like that.